Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video. In this one, I'll quickly go over the changes that were announced for Classic TBC, what I think about them, and then we will go and talk about an issue that I think a lot of people have been talking about, or don't talk enough about, and that's the no gold cap on transfers, and what I think about that. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, first of all, there's some changes. That's the new philosophy of Blizzard, and I think that's very good for Classic TBC. And this is what it's going to look like. So batching is going to be completely removed from Burning Crusade to improve the overall experience. I think that's a very good news, especially for arena players. From my limited knowledge of arenas, it's basically a series of very meticulously planned maneuvers with abilities casted at the right time, and I think that having batching could really screw up high-rated players and everything, so I think that removing it is very good for them, from what I can understand. The second thing that was announced is the pre-nerf bosses. So when the bosses are going to be released, they will be pre-nerf, but not completely pre-nerf, as we can see here. Moru, for example, initially had a lot of spell pushback, which was something that was not expected because players were excluding spellcaster from their group completely. So they fixed that issue, but then they also eventually nerfed the health pool of the boss. But in the pre-nerf version that we will have, this spell pushback will be tweaked, but not the health. That means that the overall experience will be more challenging without being more frustrating, and I think that's actually a very good thing for the community, because as we have seen in Classic WoW, raids were just a joke. They were trivialized, and we didn't really have that sense of challenge due to the fact that we had so much more information and experience than back in the days when they were first released. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. And in another post that I saw, the developers were saying that they will also take a look and tweak the bosses when they see fit, so they won't be in that pre-nerf version all the way through, and they will apply the changes when they feel that it is the time to do it. So I am very happy about that. For PvP and faction balance, first of all, Horde and Alliance Paladins will both have Seal of Blood and Seal of Vengeance, because Seal of Blood is much more powerful than Seal of Vengeance. Therefore, to reduce all of the problems of faction imbalances, because first of all, Horde ratios are super strong, especially in arenas, and now having Horde Paladins being much stronger than Alliance Paladins would make the faction imbalance much bigger. Therefore, I think that giving them both of the seal is actually a very good thing. Like they say here, up to level 64, well, from 64 to 70, they will have their faction-specific seal, but at level 70, they will also get the opposite faction seal as well. So I think this is a very good thing. It just makes things much easier to balance. Another thing that is very good for arena players is the fact that the arena rosters will be twice as big. Therefore, you can swap in other characters in and out without having to remove your character from the arena group. From my limited knowledge again of arenas, that's a very good thing, so I'm really happy about them. And they will also implement the modern matchmaking algorithm to make quickly match players with equally skilled opponents. So good things ahead for the arena players. Blood Elf and Draenei will be accessible in the pre-patch, and that means that you and your friends will be able to level them prior to entering the Dark Portal. I think it's a good thing. It's not really affecting me in any way, because I don't think I'm going to level either of those new races, but I might. The only thing that I have, well, not a problem, but the only question that I have is how is that going to affect the launch? Because we've all heard horror story that the original TBC launch was absolutely atrocious because of the fact that every player are funneled into the same starting zone, Hellfire Peninsula. Therefore, having all of that pool of players that are going to be ready to enter the Dark Portal as everybody else, rather than having them in their starting zone as everybody else is entering the Dark Portal, might be problematic, but we'll have to see how Blizzard will adjust to that. But I don't think it's going to be a problem, hopefully. But very good news. For the content phases, on this post here, it's the older version, but basically in Phase 1, it's Karazhan Gruul's lair, Magdaradan's lair, and Arena Season 1. They have pushed the Arena Season 1 phase sooner. Phase 2 is Serpent Shrine Cavern, Tempest Keep, and Season 2. Phase 3 is Hyjal, Black Temple, and Arena Season 3. Phase 4 is only Zolaman, and then Phase 5 is Sunwell and Arena Season 4. From what I can see, it's similar to the progression in Classic WoW, and I am very happy about that. What I'm not happy about, though, and I'm not going to talk about it very long because it really frustrates me, but they are implementing 2 services. The first one is the level 58 boost, 1 per character, and you can't use it, 1 per account, sorry, and you can't use it on Draenei and Blood Elves, at least, but it was kind of expectable because of the fact that we've seen character boosts since even before Legion, I think, or around Legion, and that's a few years back. So, I mean, we probably expected that, but now it's confirmed. Very sad, but the one that I think is really BS is the copy service. So basically, if you choose to go, let me just come back over here. If you go from Classic and you decide to make your character advance to Classic TBC, but you also want to keep it on a Classic era server that will stay in its current phase as it is right now, Phase 6, Naxxramas, you have to pay. Which is, in my opinion, like I said, it's total BS. If I said, you know, my character Bhelockharyh goes to Classic era, I don't want to advance it to Burning Crusade, but then I change my mind and I want to do this, yeah, okay, I can understand a transfer like that to be a paid service, but to have both of it, if I don't know, I really don't like it, and I'm not going to talk about it more than I need to because it really infuriates me, but it is what it is. Blizzard just trying to squeeze every last penny out of our wallets. But anyways, no release date yet. They were probably waiting to see the reaction of the community. Are there going to be some big backlashes, etc.? But we're still expecting something around the month of May, so we'll have to see. The big thing that I want to talk about is the no gold cap on transfers. So basically, when you copy or you transfer your character over to the Classic Burning Crusade servers, you will be able to keep all of your gold. And I think that's a big issue for some players, especially the players that are advocating for TBC fresh servers. And I can understand why they saw the situation with the Phase 6 problem with the economy, where everything just skyrocketed in price. And if you were not prepared for Phase 6 and Naxxramas in terms of consumes and in terms of gold, yeah, you were kind of screwed. Consumes went from 1x to at least 5 to 10x easily. Plague Blooms were 120 gold a stack when, you know, they used to be, what, 30, 40 gold. Everything got out of hand, and a lot of players were able to make a lot of money while other players are still trying to make ends meet. Therefore, I can understand why they would not want a no gold cap, but let's just go over the options that Blizzard has. So, I was thinking about it, and I think there's 3 main ideas, or 3 main options that Blizzard can go with. The first one is fresh, the second one is making a gold cap, and the third one is the no gold cap. So, if we go with a fresh server, I don't think that solves anything because of the fact that a lot of players, myself included, put a lot of time into their character, and you know, they maybe even created their main in the hope that they would be able to play that character in TBC, in Arena, etc. Their class and race combination would probably have been different if it wasn't for a fresh server. And I don't think it's a good idea, because if you go with a fresh server, well, you basically turn your back on all of those players that put a lot of time and effort into their character, and you please the other that want to have a fresh economy. So, but if you put no gold cap, it's the other way around. People that put a lot of time in their characters are going to be happy, the other ones are not. So I don't think that just flipping the coin is going to be actually solving anything. I don't know, it's kind of a iffy situation where I don't really see how it would solve the problem, personally. But if you have some insight on this, please let me know down in the comment section. I would like to know your input on that situation. The second option that we could go for if it's not for a fresh, because like I said, it doesn't really solve the problem unless there's a massive amount of players that actually want a fresh versus a very small amount of the community that want to just keep going with the servers as it is planned. The second option is to put a gold cap, and that also doesn't solve the problem because first of all you need to identify what is the cap. It has to be at least 50,000 gold. Now, for some players, 50,000 gold might be something unimaginable, but we've all seen streamers stream their Naxxramas GDKP run where, you know, Gressel was going, or Kingsfall, or Mom, or Hammer Twisting Nether, they were going for 100,000 gold. That person, at one point, that bought that item, you know, had in its possession at least 100,000 gold and said, bam, slapped it on the table and said, no, that weapon is mine. Screw off. And when we think about all of those mages that have been boosting people since Zul'Farrak, SM, Marodon, and now lately ZG, and myself included, I'm not saying I didn't profit from that, but those players are actually extremely rich, and I know a few of them personally. I don't know exactly how much they have in their bank account, but it's at least 100,000 gold. When they could just spend 3k here and there, and they would not even bat an eye about it, well, that means that you're kind of rich, and therefore, those players are actually the ones that would be targeted by the gold cap. So at least 50,000 gold. Is it 75,000? Is it 100,000? I don't know the number, but let's say it's 100,000 gold. Then you have to decide, is it going to be per character or per account? It doesn't really change anything, because if it's per character, well, you can have 10 players on the same, or 10 characters on the same server. So that means you can have, with one account, 1 million gold that can transfer over Classic TBC. And who knows, maybe some players have that amount of gold, we don't know. The second option, like I said, is per account. If you say 100,000 gold per account, well, somebody that has 250, 300, 400, 500 gold, 500,000 gold, well, they're just either gonna ask some of their friends to transfer gold over and maybe keep a little bit of it as a cut, or they're gonna themselves pay gold or money to buy more accounts for 1 month, transfer the gold over, and just be over with it. Or they might just do like the bloaters did back in ranking days, where some players actually have 40, 50, 60, 100 accounts, and you know, they can transfer all of that gold that way. So putting a gold cap is more something to please the masses, but it doesn't really change anything for the actual rich tycoon of Classic WoW. They will find a way to bypass that. So basically you end up with two options only: a fresh server with a fresh economy, or you just keep going and you don't put in gold cap. And that's what Blizzard is choosing to do. And I think it's not as bad as people might think, because yes, people have been suffering from the spike in the economy with Phase 6 because they were not prepared. But in this situation, we are going to be prepared, and when it is set in stone that there's going to be no gold cap or a gold cap, what's going to happen? Well, you can prepare accordingly. You have time, and you know ahead of time what's going to happen, what are the phases, when our arena season is going to come out, when our specific raids are going to come out, etc. And that means that there might be some new patterns, and therefore some items and some materials might be more important at that point in time than they were before, or than they will be later in the expansion, etc. So that means that you can plan ahead and you can ride the wave of, or ride the tsunami on your surfboard, rather than just be flooded and drown. You know, it's kind of an image that I want to show you, to say that you have two options. If there's no gold cap, you can sit and you can cry about the fact that you only have 1,000 gold, and Billy over here has 250,000 gold and he's just laughing at you. Or you can prepare accordingly. And let's say we have Billy with 250,000 gold, I have 10,000 gold, and you have Joe with 1,000 gold. Well, the only thing that is really affected by Billy's massive fortune are basically the static prices. So anything that is sold by a vendor, your talents, your respec costs, your flying mount, for example, if you want bigger bags, Harris Pilton's gigantic bags, etc., those are set in stone. It's 5,000 gold, it's 2,000 gold, it's 500 gold. Therefore, if you have 250,000 gold, you can buy a lot more of those static priced items. compared to me, who can only buy 2 items at 5,000 gold, and Joe can't even buy anything that is more than 1,000 gold. But when it comes to the actual economy and the price of items, let's say corium ores, fel steel, arcane dust, netherweave bags, etc., well, yes, that can be set. The price of those items and those materials can be set by those big whales like Billy with 250,000 gold. But if you plan accordingly, or if you can plan accordingly and you realize, okay, let's say Billy sets the price because he has so much gold of a corium ore at 100 gold for 1 ore. Not even a bar, just 1 ore. Okay, that means that Joe over here with 1,000 gold only can't buy more than 10. But if Joe here is actually smart and he picks up a gathering profession, well, every time he gets one corium ore, he can sell it for 100 gold, or he can keep it and then build the actual items that he needs with it, or feed the guild bank, etc. So that means if the price of items are very high and they're set very high, right off the bat, that's not that big of a deal because you can also benefit from it. It's not just Billy that will be able to set the price at 100 gold, and for you, it's only 10 gold. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, whatever the price of materials are, you can still benefit from it, even if it's 1 silver or 1,000 gold. If you're lucky, if you put in the time, and if you know how to farm effectively and efficiently, well, you will be able, like I said, to ride the wave and not be absolutely drowned by it. And I think that's how we should see the situation. It's not like the price will creep up from 1 gold in the first week to 100 gold in the second week, and then you spend all of your gold and you don't have anything else. Just like it did in Phase 6, when if you were not ready, you were kind of screwed. In this situation, you have the time and you have all the information ahead of you to be ready and to actually take the right decisions. So that's why I think that even if somebody comes in with a lot of gold, it's not going to affect your life all that much, because from the get-go, if everything is higher, well, you'll benefit from it. If you find some ores, if you find some arcane dust, if you find some cloth while leveling, when you go and hit the auction house, you'll have the happy surprise of, oh, damn, I can sell all of that for 1,000 gold. That means that my flying mount, which is at a static price of 5,000 gold, for example, well, you'll reach that a lot faster than if all of the economy was much lower and you could only sell your ores for a couple of gold or a couple of silver. So it's not going to be that big of a deal at the end of the day. If you farm, you'll be fine. Obviously, if you planned everything to have, let's say, enchanting and jewel crafting right off the bat on your main, yes, you might suffer from the very high prices set by Billy with his massive fortune. But if you want to change your plan, or you were already planning to go double gathering profession on a druid, for example, which is going to be the first character you level up, and then you get it to level 70, and then you level your main afterwards, so you have that awesome gatherer, by the way, okay, with the flight form that doesn't cost anything for the druid, and the fact that you can also gather resources while in flight form, so you can just go down, pick it up, and go back up. You don't have to dismount and then mount again. And the fact that also flight mount is instant cast makes a druid one of the best gatherer, well, actually the best gatherer in the whole game. So if you think about that, well, the fact that ores, herbs, and everything else is much higher than you would have expected shouldn't really change your life that much. So that's all I have to say about that, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I want to have your opinion. What do you think about all of that? Am I smoking some copious amounts of crack, or am I onto something? Let me know down below. I would love to hear what you have to say, and in the meantime, take care of yourself, have a good one. There's more content on the way, and stay blessed.